Hello, friends. I'm Chris. I'm from Transformation Nation Yoga and Wellness. And welcome to our slow flow spinal column sequence. What I think you'll need to be safe, to enjoy, and to get the most out of your practice are a yoga mat and two yoga blocks. Easy peasy. So pause your recording, roll out your mat, gather up your props. When you're ready, press play, and I'll meet you on your mat for slow flow. All right, so if you would, let me have you start in a seated position. Take some time and really get settled. And then find really solid posture. So stack the joints, float your head over your shoulders, over your hips. And then on an inhale, create some length along your spinal column. And then as you exhale, maintain that length, but see if you can allow all the gravity to draw all the soft tissues down toward the earth. Let's take a deep cleansing breath. So deep, life affirming inhale. And then open your mouth, exhale, make a ha sound. One more time, just like that. Inhale and exhale. Ah. Bring your chin so it's level with the earth. And then on an inhale, press your chin toward the back edge of your mat. In my body, this gives me a bit of a double chin. Exhale, relax your neck. Inhale, double chin. Exhale, relax your neck. Inhale, press your chin toward the back edge of your mat. Exhale, relax your neck. Inhale, double chin. Exhale, relax. And then one more time on an inhale, press your chin toward the back edge of your mat. Exhale, relax. Tuck your right hand under your seat. Place your left hand on the crown of your head with your left elbow pointing forward. On an inhale, press into your seat, lengthen along your whole spinal column. And then as you exhale, use your left hand to draw your chin down toward your left shoulder. Now, you may feel this in a little bit different area than I do, but what we're looking for is the levator scapulae. So the back right hand side of the neck. If you haven't done so already, shift into your victorious breath, your Ujjayi breath. On your next inhale, use your left hand, draw the crown of your head back up the center. Exhale, release your left hand under your left thigh, right hand to the crown of your head. Inhale to lengthen. Exhale, draw your chin down toward your right shoulder. So in our practice today, I would expect some fairly repetitive movements. Those seem to be the things that really the areas of my back that where I seem to get stuck and tight. It's the sort of repetitive movements that seem to free them up. Right. Your next inhale, use your right hand, draw the crown of your head back up the center. Exhale, release both hands down into your lap. Now, where we're going here, this first iteration, I'd like you to keep your shoulders and your hips more or less stable. But inhale, press into your seat, lengthen along your spinal column. Again, exhale, turn your chin powerfully to the left. Turn it until you really feel some sensation in the neck. Inhale, come back through center. Exhale, turn your head to the right. Inhale, center. Exhale, left. Inhale, center. Exhale, right. Inhale, center. Exhale, left. Inhale, center. Exhale, right. Inhale, center, and hold. The second iteration, if you would, leave the head and the hips more or less stable. Only the shoulders move. This will probably be a subtle movement. You may find the hands slide on the thighs as you do this. That's fine. Inhale to lengthen along your spinal column. Exhale, rotate just your shoulders to the left. Again, this could be really subtle. Inhale, come into center. Exhale, rotate your shoulders to the right. Center, left, center, right. Center, left, center, right. Come back to center and hold. This last iteration, the hips more or less stable, head and shoulders will turn in the opposite direction. So the first two times I'll cue for the direction for the head and the shoulders, and then after that I'll just say change sides. Inhale, find length along your spinal column. Exhale, rotate your shoulders to the right, turn your head to the left. Inhale, center. Exhale, head to the right, shoulders to the left. This is where it gets pretty juicy for me. Center, change sides. Center, change sides. Center, change sides. Center, and change sides. Come back into center. Now, if you would, go post your arms out to the side. So elbows more or less in line with your shoulders. Make little fists. This is a movement we're going to find all over our practice today, but from different positions. On an inhale breath, draw your shoulder blades together as if you were pinching a broomstick. Lift your gaze, open your heart. Exhale, bring your hands, forearms, wrists, elbows, everything together. Release your chin to your chest, round through your shoulders. Inhale, open your heart. Exhale, round through your shoulders. Inhale, open your heart. Exhale, round through your shoulders. Inhale, come back to goalpost arms. And tee your arms out to the side. On an inhale, flip your palms up, turn your thumbs up, lift your gaze, open your heart. Find a light action of drawing the shoulder blades together. Rounding through the shoulders will be different here. Exhale, palms down and then up in an opposite direction. Release your chin to your chest. That's it. Good. Inhale, open your heart. Exhale, round through your shoulders. Inhale, open your heart. Exhale, round through your shoulders. Inhale, come back into arms teed out to the side, and then as you exhale, slice your hands into heart center. Just rest your thumbs on your sternum for a breath. Maybe take a soft gaze at the tips of your fingers. Maybe consider an intention for your practice today. This might even be a good time to set an intention for your day, or maybe even your year. And release your hands. Take your right hand to the outside of your left thigh, left hand down by your left hip. On an inhale, lengthen along your spinal column. Exhale, rotate your hips to the right first, and then rotate your heart to the left. This dual action twist will probably result in a much less mobile twist, a much less extreme opening of the heart to the left. But that's intentional. That's not a bad thing. Inhale. Exhale, release your twist, come back to center. Inhale. Exhale, left hand to the outside of your right thigh, right hand down by your right hip. Inhale for length. Exhale, start to rotate your hips to the left first, then your heart to the right. Inhale. Exhale, release your twist. Bring your left hand down to your mat in line with your left thigh. So about a 45-degree angle from your body. Tuck the webbing between your right thumb and right index finger into your right hip crease. Fold over that left thigh first. And then on an inhale, relax your arms, open your heart up to the right. Exhale, fold over that left thigh, drag the heel of your left hand back towards your right knee, press your right hand down and back into that right hip crease. Inhale, relax your arms, open your heart up to the right. Exhale, fold over your left thigh, engage both arms, spread your kneecaps apart at the bottom of this movement, and keep moving through this gentle cycling flow at the cadence and pace of your own breath. Finish up the movement that you're on right now. Come back to stillness, find an apparent pause, and then lift yourself up. We're going to change sides. Right hand down to the mat in line with your right thigh. Tuck the webbing between your left thumb and left index finger into your left hip crease. Fold over that right thigh first, and then on an inhale, relax your arms completely. Open your heart up to the left. Exhale, fold, engage both arms, spread the knees apart. Feel for your right armpit hollowing out as you drag the heel of your hand back towards your left knee. Inhale, relax your arms, open your heart up to the left. Exhale, fold and engage. Keep flowing through this just like the other side at the cadence and pace of your own breath. Finish up the round that you're working on here. Find an apparent pause, and then lift yourself up. Roll over your crossed ankles. Make your way into a tabletop shape. Starting with rhomboid push-ups, with your shoulders floating over your elbows, with your hips floating over your knees, the long spine, back of your head is buoyant. The goal is here, the arms will stay straight, but on an inhale, drop just your chest down toward the earth. Feel the space between your shoulder blades close together. And then as you exhale, start puffing the space between your shoulder blades, the back of your heart up toward the stars. Maybe at the top of this movement, release your chin to your chest. Inhale, back of the head becomes buoyant. Release your heart down toward the earth. Exhale, round through your shoulders. Inhale one more time. Release your heart down toward the earth. Exhale, puff the back of your heart up toward the stars. And then come into a neutral spine position. Take your left hand to the center of your mat, right under your sternum first, and then shift it about a half a handprint further to the right. Now, thread your right hand under your left. So pinky edge blade of your right hand and pinky edge blade of your left hand more or less touch. And then on an inhale, drop your belly down toward the earth, lift your chin forward, open your heart, drag the heels of your hands back toward your knees. Exhale, press into your hands, round through your shoulders. Maybe shift your gaze to the space between your heels. Inhale, drop your belly, open your heart, maybe tuck your toes. Exhale, round through your shoulders, relax your neck. keep flowing through this at the cadence and pace of your own breath. Come back to stillness, find an apparent pause. Come back into tabletop. And we're still going to upset the apple cart here, but I'd like to upset it from neutral first. So tuck your toes under your feet, walk your knees together, and then feet out wide. So we have camel legs, but with wide feet. And then bring your left hand to the center of your mat, under your sternum. Take your right hand, fingers to the temple like you're giving a salute. Inhale, squeeze your legs together, lengthen along your spine. Exhale, lift your right elbow up toward the stars. Inhale, come about a third of the way out of this twist. Exhale, re-engage, squeeze your legs together. Lift your right elbow up toward the heavens. Keep flowing through this at the cadence and the pace of your own breath. Come back to neutral, find an apparent pause. Release your right hand down to the mat. Right away, go to the center of your mat, under your sternum. Fingers of your left hand at the left temple. Inhale, lengthen along your spine. Exhale, lift your left elbow up toward the stars. And just like the other side, find this gentle flowing sequence and movement, rather, at the cadence and pace of your own breath. Come back to stillness, find an apparent pause. Come back into tabletop, more of a conventional tabletop now. And then on an inhale, tuck your toes up under your feet. Exhale, find the first down dog of your practice. And right away, go into some small movements in your lower body to warm your lower body. And then find stillness of your lower body. Release your heels down toward the earth. Bend in the knees is just fine. Index fingers at 12 o'clock. Press firmly into your index knuckle and thumb. Press especially into the index knuckle and thumb. Relax your neck. Press your chest and your belly closer toward your thighs. Press your thighs closer toward your chest and your belly. Continue to breathe. Inhale. Exhale. On an inhale, bend your knees, look forward. Exhale, walk or step to the top edge of your mat. Grab a block. Bring your feet hip distance apart. Ragdoll Uttanasana with your hands on a block. So sides of the feet make the shape of the number 11. Shift the weight more into the balls of the feet than the heels. Pretty light in the heels. Relax your neck. And a big, generous bend in the knees, enough that your whole belly will rest on your thighs. Heel toe your feet together. Big toes touch, maybe a space between your heels. Inhale, find a halfway lift with a long spine. Exhale, forward fold. One more just like that. This time, inhale, halfway lift, hands on thighs. Maintain your halfway lift back as you exhale right here. And then as you inhale, press into your feet, press into your hands, come all the way up to standing. Exhale, slice your hands down into heart center. Inhale, reach your arms up over your head. Exhale, tee your arms out to the side, palms face forward, thumbs point toward the stars, pinkies point toward the earth. Inhale, flip your palms up, turn your thumbs back behind you, lift your gaze, open your heart. Exhale, bring your hands, wrists, forearms, and elbows together, release your chin to your chest. Inhale, open your heart. Exhale, right from here, find a forward fold. Inhale for a halfway lift. Exhale, step back into high plank. Hands and arms stay shoulder width apart. Tap your knees down to the earth. Lower all the way down to your belly. And then slide your hands forward, Sphinx pose. Float your shoulders over your elbows. Press the tops of your feet into the earth until the knees lift. Soften your belly. Find complete relaxation in your belly if you can. Maybe ground down into the index, knuckle, and thumb of both hands, but then find an action of dragging the elbows back towards your waist. Keep softening the belly. Inhale. Exhale, lower your heart down to the earth. Draw your hands under your shoulders. Downward facing dog. On an inhale, bend your knees, look forward. Exhale, walk or step to the top edge of your mat. Inhale for a halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, press into your feet. Circle your arms up over your head. Rise. Exhale, tee your arms out to the side. Inhale, turn your thumbs back behind you. Lift your gaze, open your heart. Exhale, round through your shoulders. Inhale, open your heart. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale for a halfway lift. Exhale, high plank. Press down into your index, knuckle, and thumb. Index fingers about 12 o'clock. Press your heels toward the back edge of your mat. Draw your belly button towards your spine. Keep the back of the head buoyant, more or less in line with the back of your heart. And inhale right here. Exhale, knees up or down, lower down to your belly. And then with your hands under your shoulders on an inhale, open your heart. Easy cobra. Exhale, downward facing dog. On an inhale, bend your knees, look forward. Exhale, walk or step to the top edge of your mat. Inhale for a halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, rise, come all the way up to standing. Exhale, tee your arms out to the side. Inhale, open your heart. Exhale, round through your shoulders. Inhale, open your heart. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale for a halfway lift. Exhale, step back into high plank. Inhale in high plank. Exhale, lower your heart down to the earth. Inhale, open your heart. Exhale, downward facing dog. On an inhale, bend your knees, look forward. Exhale, walk, step, or float to the top edge of your mat. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, rise, come all the way up to standing. Exhale, tee your arms out to the side. Inhale, open your heart. Exhale, round through your shoulders. Inhale, open your heart. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale for a halfway lift. Exhale, step back into high plank. Inhale in high plank. Exhale, lower all the way down to your belly. Inhale, open your heart. Exhale, downward facing dog. Draw in a deep, life-affirming breath. Hold it at the top. And then open your mouth, let it go with a ha sound. Bend your knees, look forward, and then move to the top edge of your mat. Inhale for a halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, chair pose, Utkatasana. With a long spine, hands on the thighs are fine. Hands on heart centers, also chair. Or warrior one arms. Fingers reach for the stars. But right away, shift the weight into your heels. Scoop your belly button towards your sternum. Maybe open your heart more. Find a balanced sattvic level of energy in the hands, flexed and not overflexed. Inhale. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale for a halfway lift. Exhale, step back into high plank. Inhale, rock forward on your toes, float your shoulders over your wrists. As you exhale, knees up or down, hands and arms stay shoulder width apart. Come halfway down, chaturanga. Inhale, open your heart, any heart opener. I'm going to choose up dog this time. Shoulders floating over my wrist, dragging the heels of my hands back toward my knees. Exhale, downward facing dog. On an inhale, lift your right heel up toward the stars, toe turned down toward the earth, nice closed hip. And then step forward into warrior one, maybe replacing your right hand with your right foot. Left toes at 8 or 9 o'clock. Heels could be in a straight line, could be super wide. Options for hands on that front thigh, heart center, fingers reaching for the stars, or one more invitation, go post your arms out to the side. Inhale, lift your gaze, draw your shoulder blades together, open your heart. Exhale, hands, wrists, forearms, elbows come together, chin to your chest, round through your shoulders. Inhale, open your heart. Exhale, round through your shoulders. Inhale, open your heart. Exhale, round through your shoulders. Inhale, come back into goalpost arms. Exhale, release your hands down to the earth. Step your right leg back to meet your left. High plank. From there, either press directly into down dog or flow through your own vinyasa, going from a high plank to a low plank. Finding any heart opener. And then meeting in downward facing dog. Inhale, lift your left heel up toward the heavens. Exhale, rise up into warrior one. Left toes at 12 o'clock, right toes at 2 or 3 o'clock. Any of those arm variations are an option, or go post the arms out to the side. Inhale, open your heart. Exhale, round through your shoulders. Inhale, open your heart. Exhale, round through your shoulders. Inhale, open your heart. Exhale, round through your shoulders. Inhale, open your heart. Exhale, round through your shoulders. Inhale, come back into goalpost arms. Exhale, release your hands down to the earth, and then you get the down dog in whatever way makes sense to you and for your body. On an inhale, bend your knees, look forward. Exhale, move to the top edge of your mat. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, chair pose. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale for a halfway lift. Exhale, step back into high plank. Inhale in high plank. Exhale, low plank. Inhale, open your heart. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, lift your left heel up toward the heavens. Exhale, step forward into warrior one. Taking one breath to stabilize as you rise. And then as you exhale, open up into Virabhadrasana, warrior two. Pinky edge blade of your left foot parallel with the back edge of your mat. Maybe walking that right heel forward if the right knee starts to scoot forward. Arms parallel to the earth. Shift your gaze over the left-hand edge of your mat. On an inhale, flip your palms up, lift your gaze, start to turn your thumbs back behind you. Exhale, palms down, up in the opposite direction, chin to your chest, round through your shoulders. Inhale, open your heart. Exhale, round through your shoulders. Inhale, open your heart. Exhale, round through your shoulders. Inhale, come back into more conventional warrior two arms. Exhale, cartwheel your hands down to the earth, high plank, and then chart your own course to down dog. From downward facing dog, on an inhale, lift your left leg up toward the stars. Exhale, step it forward, rise up into warrior one. Inhale as you rise. Exhale, Virabhadrasana, warrior two. Noticing that tendency either for the shoulders to move forward toward that front knee and drawing them back in line, or maybe the tendency for that left knee to scoot in toward the big toe side, and counter that as well. Shift your gaze over the right hand edge of your mat, and then inhale, open your heart. Exhale, round through your shoulders. Inhale, open your heart. Exhale, round through your shoulders. Inhale, open your heart. Exhale, round through your shoulders. Inhale, come back into more conventional warrior two arms. Exhale, cartwheel your hands down to the earth, high plank, and then get to down dog in the way that suits you and your body today. From your downward facing dog, on an inhale, lift your right heel up toward the stars. Exhale, step it forward, tap your left knee down to the earth, low lunge, knowing that you can take some time and pat up under that left knee if you're getting compression pain. Your hands might be on the mat, they might be on a block, they might be on the right thigh. Now the toes on that back foot, they could be tucked, or you can press the top of that foot into the earth. But really firmly engage that leg with the earth. Feel your left glute really start to engage, and then release your hips any amount forward toward that right heel. More cycling for the lower back. We've done a lot of focus on the neck and thoracic spine. So we're going to start to shift and give the low back a little bit more care and love. Inhale. Exhale. Release your left hand down to the mat or to a block. Place your right hand on your right thigh. We're going to cycle here too. Inhale, find length along your spinal column. Exhale, start to rotate your hips to the left. As you press into your right hand, straighten your right arm. Open your heart up to the right. Inhale, come 30% of the way out of this twist. Heart comes 30% of the way closer to the earth. Exhale, re-engage, hips to the left, heart to the right, straighten that right arm. Keep flowing through this at the cadence and the pace of your own breath. And keep allowing your hips to fall forward down toward that right heel. Come back to center, find an apparent pause, and then start to press into that right heel, straighten that right leg, Hanumasana, half split. I'm going to tuck a block under my right glute. You can do that with or without the block. You also have blocks under your hands. You could have the toes on your right foot reaching for the earth, and you could have stack joints. It's a nice place for a strap. You could fold forward over that right thigh, or put a micro bend or maybe a bigger bend in that right knee Each inhale, drop your toes off to the right. Each exhale, lift the toes back up toward the stars like sprouts reaching for the sun. With two more breaths here. When we transition, we'll go to Anjaneyasana first, and then we'll go from there into a high plank. You can go from your high plank directly into down dog or flow through a vinyasa. Totally your choice. On your next inhale, lift back up into a low lunge. Bring your hands to the earth. Step your right leg back to meet your left. High plank. And then you get to down dog in the way that makes sense to you. From down dog, on an inhale, lift your left heel up toward the stars. Exhale, step it forward. Tap the right knee down. Low lunge. Maybe even tuck the toes under that right foot. Walk that right knee further back behind you before you set it down. Engage your left glute. Release your hips any amount forward toward that left heel, any arms. And I said engage your left glute. Relax your left glute. Engage your right glute. Inhale. Exhale. Release your right hand down to the mat or to a block. Left hand on your left thigh. Inhale for length. Exhale. Rotate your hips to the right, heart to the left. Start to straighten that left arm. And then find this movement cycling in and out of this twist here as well. Back to stillness. Bring your heart back into center. Release your hands down to the earth. Start pressing into that left heel. Straighten your left leg. Any half split. On an inhale, start to shift forward into a low lunge. Step back into high plank. And then from your high plank, tap your knees down to the earth. Come down to your belly. Bring your hands down by your waist. Palms facing down. Lengthen your legs long. Walk your legs back behind you. And then on an inhale, draw your belly button towards your sternum. Feel your pubic bone root down into the earth. Start to lift up into Salabhasana, locust pose. Shift your gaze down either directly under your head or maybe where the top edge of your mat meets the floor of your home. Lift the back of your arms higher up toward the stars. lower your heart down to the earth. Flip your palms to face the sky. Rest your right cheek on the mat. Turn your palms down. Bring your gaze to neutral. Lengthen out first. And then inhale. Draw your belly button towards your sternum. Exhale. Lift up into a second locust. Maybe same arms. Maybe this time you interlace your hands behind your back. If you do that, if you can, press the heels of your hands together. Press your knuckles back towards your heels. And create more space and length along the front plane of your body. So from the hairline, where it meets your forehead, down to the tips of your toes. And then slowly, with control, lower down to the mat. Flip your palms to face the sky. Shift your gaze to your right. Then bring your gaze to neutral. Walk your hands forward. Float your shoulders over your elbows. And then tuck your toes under your feet. Lift up into a forearm plank. And this can be done on the knees too. Still a forearm plank. Draw your belly button towards your spine. Press your heels toward the back edge of your mat. Puff the space between your shoulder blades up toward the stars. Keep the back of your head buoyant. Notice the tendency to allow the forehead to collapse down to the earth and then counter that tendency. If your knees are not already on the earth, tap them down. Lower your hips down to the earth, Sphinx pose, but an engaged Sphinx like we did earlier in the practice. And then tuck your toes under your feet. Lift up into a forearm plank. And if your knees are not already on the earth, tap your knees down. Come into a Sphinx pose. And tuck your toes under your feet. One last forearm plank. Really engage the core. Draw your belly button towards your spine. Puff the space between your shoulder blades up toward the heavens again. And breathe, breathing the whole time. Tap your knees down to the earth. Release your hips down to the earth. Last Sphinx pose of the practice. And then lower your heart down to the earth. Hands under your shoulders. Find downward facing dog. On an inhale, lift your right heel up toward the stars. Exhale, half pigeon. Take your right knee down to the far right-hand edge of your mat. Now notice I don't care at all, not a lick, how close to parallel that front shin is, but I would like you that right knee to be nice and wide. Tuck the toes under your left foot, walk that left knee long behind you, and then maybe left hand on your right foot, right hand on your right thigh. Notice if you've got a gap under your hip, there'll be a tendency for the hips to want to scoot over toward the right. There'll be some level of engagement required to keep everything center. And if you get any pain at all in that right knee, flex the toes on your right foot back towards your right knee. It's not wrong, certainly. This is often taught folding forward over that right shin. It's definitely not wrong. What I'm finding in my practice, I'm starting to practice this differently because I find when I stay lifted up like this and I have the weight of my body, my joints more or less stacked over my hips, I have more pressure to allow time and gravity to do their work to allow my hips to droop down toward the earth. Right? If you chose to fold forward, start to lift yourself up, and then regardless, bring your hands under your shoulders, tuck your toes under your left foot, lift up into down dog, and then right away, on an inhale, lift your left heel up toward the heavens. Exhale, left knee to the far left-hand edge of your mat. Tuck your toes under your right foot. Walk that right leg long behind you. Right hand on your left foot, left hand on your left thigh. Breathing the whole time. We're going to go into a fallen sphinx next to lengthen out the quadratus lamborum in the lower back. So I'd like you to start thinking about how you stage 2 blocks close by. So full disclosure, I'm not going to use any blocks, but I had an experience. I'll tell you about it when we're in this pose that's got me teaching this and thinking about this a little bit differently. Right. If you chose to fold forward over that left thigh, walk your hands back up. Instead of down dog, tuck your toes under your left foot. Step your left leg back to meet your right, and then make your way onto your right side. Again, if you would, have 2 blocks close by. And I'd like you to find like a right forearm plank with your right shoulder more or less floating over the right elbow. Before you go any further, if the shoulders aren't feeling stable and strong today, one option is to take 2 blocks, stack them up under the armpit so the armpit's bearing the weight and not the shoulder. Right? It'll be a little bit of a subtle difference. And then step your left leg forward. So for me, that's over the left-hand edge of my mat. And I'd like you to feel for length and space between your right armpit and your right hip. That right hand can be right there on the right hip. Now, we do this sometimes with another action with a twist as well. We can do it here today as well. My dad, you can actually release your right ear to your right shoulder if you like lots of space and ease in the right rib cage to allow them to reach toward the earth. My dad's had lower back pain since I was a little boy, and I just over the last couple of years have started to understand anatomy well enough, and to start asking my dad questions about the nature of his pain. That I figured out it was almost certainly quadratus lamborum. He's got disc issues as well, but quadratus lamborum was a contributor to his back pain. So I started showing this to him. It felt great for his lower back, but crappy for his shoulder. Right, so that's the reason I started to teach this with blocks under the armpits as well. It's another option. Sometimes we do these things and it's maybe not the trade that we want. You can stay right here. This is productive, constructive movement the whole time. Or left hand down to the mat so you can slide the right hand forward. Left hand to your left rib cage. Fold your left shoulder down toward the earth behind you. I've run out of real estate behind me here, but you can see where we're going with this. Right. Under the best of circumstances, when I fold my left shoulder down to the earth behind me, um, it's not going to come very close to the earth. So if that's the case, you could leave your hand right here in that left rib cage, or you could bring it to the back of the neck. But if your left shoulder, if you've got a lot of torso and shoulder mobility, your left shoulder comes down to the earth, You could also lengthen that left arm long behind you. And when we set up for the other side, I'll leave myself enough space that I can demonstrate what this looks like, at least on my body, with more real estate. All right, so if you lengthen your left arm long behind you, bring your left hand back to your left rib cage. Start with the shoulder. Lift the shoulder up, float your left shoulder over your right. Step your leg back to meet your right. Roll over onto your left side. Find that left forearm plank here as well. Maybe with blocks up under that left armpit. Step your right leg forward. Let your left rib cage droop down to the earth. Ooh. Maybe even release your left ear towards your left shoulder. When we finish it up to this, we're going to do a supine twist on blocks. So it would be skillful to have 2 blocks within reach here too. Just to plan ahead a little bit. And then stay right here, or right hand down to the mat, and you can slide that left forearm forward. Bring your right hand to the bottom of your right rib cage. Fold your right shoulder down toward the earth as well. And then again, it won't feel good on my body, but it might feel good for you to lengthen that right arm long behind you. Bring your right hand back to your right rib cage. Lift your right shoulder up, float it over your left. Step your right leg back over your left. And then come onto your back, have 2 blocks. Set up as if we were going to bridge. We're not, but set up as if we were. And then press into your feet. Lift your thighs, lift your hips. Place both blocks at the lowest height, right in the center of your lower back, so that the seam of those 2 blocks meeting is right in the center of your lower back. Now, scoot your hips over to the far right-hand edge. I'm going to change positions just for demonstration purposes. You stay right where you are. Right, scoot your hips over to the edge of your right hip is on the far right-hand edge of that block. Float your knees over your hips, shins parallel to the earth, toes flexed toward the earth. Anchor your elbows down into the earth on the side, forearms, fingers reaching for the stars. And then if you'll notice, we created lots of real estate on the left on those blocks. Now we're going to occupy it. Drop your hips over to the left. Left hand comes to the top of your right thigh, the outside of your right thigh. On an inhale, use your left hand, pull your right hip down, your right thigh down toward the earth. Open your heart up to the right. Exhale, release. Come about a third of the way out of the twist. Exhale, pull with the left arm. Open your heart up to the right. Exhale, relax. Continue flowing through this at the cadence and the pace of your own breath. Right, come back to stillness, find an apparent pause. Anchor both elbows into the earth with the fingers reaching for the stars again. Lift your right knee up to center, left knee up to center. Set your feet down, then scoot your hips over to the far left-hand edge of those blocks. Float your knees over your hips, shins parallel to the earth. Draw both knees to the right. This time, right hand comes to the outside of your left thigh. Inhale, use your right hand, pull that left thigh down to the right side of your mat. Open your heart up to the left. And continue flowing through this movement at the cadence and the pace of your own breath.
Find an apparent pause. Anchor both elbows into the earth. Lift your left knee up to center, right knee up to center. Lower your feet down into the earth. Maybe lift up and remove your blocks. And then from there, make your way into any final resting shape on your seat, your belly, your back, or your side. If you've held on to your victorious breath this whole time, you can let that go now. Just come back to a comfortable, natural breath. Swallow 2 or 3 times, and then start to draw in some deeper breaths. Begin to reanimate your body with any small movements. And then as soon as you're ready, there's no rush, and there's no reason to hold back. When your body wants more, you can start to go bigger at any time with any larger movements. Eventually winding up on in a fetal position on either side. From there, take all the time you need, 3 or 4 breaths, maybe longer. Just check in, notice how your body's feeling, particularly along the length of your spinal column. And check into and notice what is the quality of your nervous system now. And then press yourself up into any seated position, any soft eyes, anything you like with your hands. Thank you, friend, for moving and breathing with me this morning. Thank you for trusting me with your body, your mind, and your spirit. And I wish you and your family the happiest of New Year's. Draw your thumbs to the space between your eyebrows if you're moved to do so.
Blessings to you and your family. And that concludes our practice for today. Great work, friends. Again, I'm Chris. I'm from Transformation Nation Yoga and Wellness. And this was our slow flow spinal column practice. You're doing amazing. Keep going.